Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to be joining you at Crystal Apple 360. I'm delighted to be with you today. My name is Sara Denby. I'm head of the Unstereotype Alliance Secretariat at UN Women in New York. But I'm not from New York, as you may be able to tell. I grew up in New Zealand, and before I joined the UN and started working in human rights and gender equality, I spent 18 years in the advertising industry working at creative agencies around the world. So it is a particular pleasure to be here speaking with you today. For the next 20 minutes or so, I'm going to talk with you about stereotypes. I'll explain why they're a threat to progress in any society and how advertisers like yourselves can play such an important role to flip that on its head and drive positive social change. But before I begin, I'd like to play just a very short video that helps to explain why the Unstereotype Alliance exists, and that often as advertisers, the problem is not seeing the problem.
My name is Ben, and I'll be playing Useless Dad.
Receptionist.
Mother.
Mother.
Corner shop man.
Can you do it in an Indian accent?
Full shebang. He wants the paper as well, huh? No? Why not?
Mr. Jones's office. Hello.
90. Okay, yeah. Quick wash.
We've got pink sheets.
Hair model.
Can you be a bit happier? Back a bit. Happier than that? Further.
I'm right by the wall.
Perfect.
Sorry, what do you want me to do?
I get called in to do sexy dancer type roles, but actually I trained at the Royal Ballet School and I'm a classically trained ballerina.
Maids, mothers, cleaners, hair, beauty, pretty girl, someone's girlfriend.
3 accountants, a drowning man.
I'm never the hero. I'm always sort of handing the hero a note.
I wish I could get the funny roles because I could do them.
Normally it's about my face, my hair and my body.
I never get to speak. I want to be able to speak.
I'm a fabulous, awesome black woman. I've never played a role like that.
So, the Unstereotype Alliance is a thought and action platform that seeks to eradicate harmful stereotypes from all media and advertising content. Convened and led by UN Women at the highest level, we firmly believe that stereotypes are a pervasive and destructive force that create a real barrier to progress in any society, particularly when it comes to gender equality. So why focus on advertising and media? Well, the reasons are twofold. First, when we look at society and think about what influences our view of the world, advertising and the media play such a powerful role in shaping the world we see around us and how we see each other. It's a far-reaching ecosystem that you find in all corners of the world, and advertising's always been about behavior change, right? Whether it's influencing the dishwashing liquid we buy, or the car we drive, or even who we vote for. So in that way, advertising also influences social attitudes and our values and our beliefs. And with that dynamic comes a huge opportunity for positive portrayals of all people that can really influence social change. Unfortunately, we know we've still got a long way to go when it comes to gender-based stereotypes alone in advertising. Two of our Unstereotype Alliance members, Cannes Lions and the Gina Davis Institute on Gender in Media, assessed the 2019 Cannes Lions film and filmcraft entries, so the cream of the global crop. They found male characters had twice as much screen time and twice the speaking time as female characters. Men were nearly twice as likely as women to be shown working, more likely to be shown as funny, and to be depicted as leaders. Female characters were 4 times more likely to be shown in revealing clothing, and nearly twice as likely to be shown as partially nude. Men, conversely, were less likely to be depicted as likable or caring. And the problem goes beyond gender. The Cannes Lions study confirms that globally, even when different groups of people are present on screen, their portrayals are generally limited. So in 2019, characters of colour garnered 46% of screen time in all Cannes Lions entries. Great. However, white characters were more likely to be shown working than characters of colour, and more likely to be shown as smart or intelligent. People of colour were less likely to be shown working in a profession, but more likely to be shown in a sports setting or eating fast food. Even older characters, so those aged 50 plus, are less likely to be shown in an office, whereas in fact 1/3 of the US workforce is aged over 50. Older characters were also more likely to be depicted with physical comedy or as the butt of a joke. This is just not reflective of the wonderfully diverse societies that we live in. It's really out of touch. It doesn't represent the consumers we serve or the audiences we need to reach and resonate with in order for our marketing to be effective. We know from academic evidence as well that by reinforcing and perpetuating traditional gender roles can lead to really harmful outcomes. Equally, not representing minority groups or depicting these communities in stereotypical ways leaves millions of people feeling invisible, disenfranchised, and disempowered. And that's not to mention the impact it has on our children who are watching and taking all of this in. So what does that mean for brands and advertisers? Well, if 70% of brand purchasing decisions around the world are made by women, how can it be good business when we know 63% of women say they don't see themselves represented in most advertising? 72% of women and men say that most advertising doesn't reflect the world around them. And almost half of consumers, 45%, still see sexist ads that offend them. On the upside, research done in the USA by the ANA found that brands that deliver progressive ads achieve a higher purchase intent of more than 25% for all consumers and 45% for women alone. Brands with purpose also reap financial rewards. So 73% of millennials and 72% of Generation Z, so the emerging generations of affluent consumers, will pay extra for products and services from companies dedicated to social and environmental change. And in the numerous surveys that followed COVID-19 and Black Lives Matter discussions around racial justice all over the globe, we know that these generations expect brands to communicate their social purpose and to deliver on it. They actively seek out brands that are aligned with their own social values, and then they hold them accountable to actually walk the talk. So eradicating stereotypes from advertising isn't just a social responsibility, it's now a business imperative. And that's where we come in. So the Unstereotype Alliance was launched in 2017 at the Cannes Lions Festival, and it is now a global movement that seeks to use the advertising and media industries as a force for good. With a membership comprised of global and national companies, the The Alliance contributes to empowering people in all their diversity, so race, class, ethnicity, age, ability, religion, sexuality, language, education, and socioeconomic status. And we address all stops on the gender spectrum. So that includes LGBTIQ+ and healthy masculinities in advertising. And we do all of that through the commitment and actions of our members, who are brands, agencies, producers, advertising authorities, policymakers, and not-for-profits across the world. We currently have 232 members worldwide, including 12 national chapters. And we leverage the footprint, of course, of the United Nations 193 member states to foster what we call a global approach. So that's a shared global vision with a local focus. Our national chapters are key to our success. Because stereotypes are culturally driven, we can't take a one-size-fits-all approach to addressing them. So we currently have 12 national chapters, which you see there in red, and then we are due to launch in China later this year. So of our 232 members, 185 of them sit within our 12 national chapters. That's 80% of the total Alliance membership, driving change on the ground, addressing local nuanced stereotypes, and pushing the global collective movement forward. We are enormously proud to count Turkey among our national chapters. Turkey was our second chapter to launch back in December 2019, and it's our second largest chapter in the network, with 29 amazing members and allies, and 2 more to be announced very soon. The Turkey National Chapter recently celebrated its 2nd anniversary and collectively has already achieved some fantastic outcomes. This includes, of course, the brilliant campaign When Ads Change, Society Changes. This was led by 2 founding members of the chapter, the Association of Advertising Agency, RVD, and the Foundation of Advertising, RV. This public-facing campaign challenges traditional gender roles in advertising and ran across outdoor radio and online media to achieve organic reach of over 13 million people, and thus far has received 11 national industry awards. Truly an outstanding piece of work. But there is still so much to be done. Everything we do around the world is evidence-based, founded in data insights, and tracked and measured to ensure progress is being made. One of the ways we do this is with the Gender Equality Attitude Study. This is a 20-country study that examines people's perceptions towards gender equality and serves as a measure of impact of all the work that we do. The second report is about to be released at the Cannes Festival next month, but I can share with you some of the learnings from consumers surveyed in Turkey. For respondents in Turkey, the study found that consumers believe the most important driver for the country's future success is equal pay for equal work. And a large percentage of respondents also see opportunities in business, education, and women's rights in all areas. Yet when we delve a little deeper into the data, we see more traditional gender attitudes at play. When it comes to work, 30% of respondents in Turkey believe that men should be paid more than women for doing the same job. 34% feel that a woman should not earn more than her husband. 54% consider it natural for men to earn more than women, as they should be the main providers. 42% of respondents agree that a man's job is to earn money, while a woman's job is to look after the house and family. And 55% believe women should work less and devote more time to caring for their family. Respondents in Turkey are also twice as likely to believe that children suffer when the mother works for pay compared to when the father works for pay. And when we take a look at people's perceptions of how both women and men are portrayed in the media, so advertising content and TV shows, etc., we see an overwhelming agreement across the board that roles are typically found to be traditional for both genders. In Turkey, this is seen to be more acute in the representation of men. And in this survey, those roles are such as providers for the family, as leaders, or as businessmen. So the importance of challenging these stereotypes in our creative and our messaging is clear if we are determined to drive towards equality. So on to some data that looks at advertising more specifically. The Beyond Gender 2 study, which we released last year and you can find on our website, examined the impact of intersectional advertising in 4 countries: Japan, Turkey, UK, and the US. Similarly to the findings in the Gender Equality Attitude Study, data revealed that in Turkey, many people feel their way of life isn't reflected in advertising content. Most women and men agreed that they rarely see themselves represented in advertising. And a third think it's hard to find products that feel as though they're targeting them. Each of these attitudes is experienced more acutely by groups that exist at the intersection of more than one traditionally marginalized group. However, insights from the community qualitative study, where participants were exposed to both traditional and more modern intersectional ads, suggest that people believe brands are slowly evolving to be more inclusive and representative in their advertising. This shift, however, is seen over years rather than months. The Beyond Gender 2 study also found that intersectional advertising prompted positive emotional associations. Most of those in Turkey stated that the advertising made them feel glad the brand exists and made them feel good about the brand itself. 1 in 2 found the intersexual advertising they were shown as believable and inspirational, with very few indicating the creative was irritating or offensive. Furthermore, most respondents in Turkey indicated that the advertising made them feel valued, 54%, and virtually no respondent indicated that the advertising made them feel angry, just 2%. These overwhelmingly positive emotions to the advertising are similar regardless of demographic groups. When exposed to intersectional ads deliberately designed to be inclusive and feature diverse people in varying roles, respondents generally felt closer to brands after viewing the ad, making them very effective in Turkey. Inclusive and intersectional advertising is particularly effective among men and younger adults, while the impact of the advertising on LGBTIQ+, immigrants, minorities, those aged over 50, or those living with a disability was closer to the general population, suggesting that more could be done to bring these consumers closer through targeted advertising strategies. I strongly encourage you to reflect on these insights and to remember that as advertisers and creatives, you have the power and the influence to create a more inclusive and progressive world. We must not forget that if advertising fails to reflect the multiple and complex natures of human experience and fails to challenge stereotypes, there is a danger of reinforcing a damaging and restrictive idea of normality that leaves millions of people feeling disenfranchised and excluded. This is the danger we face if we do nothing. Communication can be such a powerful force in leading positive cultural change, and I hope some of what I've shared today inspires you to join the Unstereotype journey and to help make that change. And now to close, I'd like to share another very short video from our Global Member Summit last year to give you a flavour of the progressive work that Unstereotype Alliance members are producing all over the world. They're driving change and they're accelerating impact. Thank you.
man with disabled upper limbs is boxing in gym. Hits punch bag.